Might have messed it up already. The only job I got.
First day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I made that noise for Laura too.
All right, calling the meeting to order tonight, for our, committee of the whole. You want to go ahead and take the roll?
Sure. Councilmember Hamel.
Here.
Councilmember Dittrich.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Here.
Councilmember Sherbrain.
Here.
Councilmember Gray.
Here.
All right, we're all here. First of all, welcome, Rob, to your first committee of the whole meeting. Broke a minute early today.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. First item tonight is the city right of way between 116 South Franklin Street and 106 East Delaware Street.
And I think we had, Mike, are you here to speak on regarding that if you want to come up to the podium?
Hey, Mike Corcoran. I'm with the group investing in the building of Franklin. So I'm from Manchester. I've lived in Ryan 35 years now, but not too far away. So I don't know if we're asking much as to vacate as more an easement.
Yep.
Probably would be ideal. Besides the trash, the business does have a lot of cardboard to recycle and that sort of thing. So about 6.5 feet from the building towards that alley, what we'd be looking at. Right? And we covered up. I sent some pictures. Again,
And I did attach those to your
and again, we're not married to that idea. Just anything we can come up with to help make it work.
I'll tell you what my problem with anything in the alley is. We are going to be closing South Franklin at some point. All the businesses are going to be inaccessible from the front. If we close the alley to those businesses, nobody can get in the front, they can't get in the back. I would like to see us try to do something on the side of your building instead. I know that there's going to be a problem in terms of visual as people come out of there, but I talked to Tirza earlier today at F&M. We happened to be at another meeting together, and so I just mentioned it to her. I would like to see a mirror put up on your building and one on F&M's drive-through, so that as people come out there, even if you extend out a little bit further onto the sidewalk for your trash, it would not impede people from driving through the alley at all, but they would be able to see either direction as they come out. And to me, that might be a better thing for us to look at. I just hate to have us close off any alley at this point, because we're going to be dependent upon those alleys to keep our businesses open. When we do that city.
That's an only, is that a one-way or it is not?
It's
only
not.
11 foot wide. I mean,
I've never seen anybody go the other direction on it, but I'm sure they have. But a lot of people use the other direction because they come through F&M's. The
Circle around.
Yeah, they use the ATM and then they come out that way. But I don't see people going the other way. We could even make it a one-way, I suppose, or something if we wanted to. But I just have some concerns about closing off any possibility of anybody running a business when we get started on those constructions down there. So that would be my big concern.
Yeah. So just to clarify, the option would be, and I know I understand what you're saying, but the two options that seemed most beneficial, as if we were looking to close off that alley, if that's what the council is looking to do, would be either to lease it to them, do some sort of lease agreement, or do an easement agreement, and just behind their business. It wouldn't be behind the other businesses. So just to clarify, because you're not asking for the whole length of the alley.
But you wouldn't allow traffic to it.
No, it would block traffic. Absolutely.
Do their thing
It would.
Wes Schulte, who is property owner, contacted me, and I talked to Cheers at the bank too. And I think it is a valid concern. I worked at F&M, so it's that exit from people coming around from the ATM. So I think that would somewhat impede it. And I know Wes is very concerned because with what he's trying to do, he's going to have tenants in there. So if we can, Mary Ann's idea, it's hard for me to envision, but I don't know if that's something
would it be something to go past. So if you're familiar with it, there's kind of a little, I don't know, for back, where they can put stuff into the basement. But it would have to, for us, because he's looking at a takeout window where that door.
I see.
If we could go towards Franklin Street to utilize some space in there, I mean, it'd be under the decks we envisioned from the
That's an interesting thought. Yeah.
But that's kind of where he envisioned doing like takeout and that sort of thing.
I see.
Are we talking trash or are we just talking cardboard?
Trash and cardboard, yeah. We would, for the amount of cardboard he does, he would need a dumpster for both. I mean, that's too much.
You know, for my business, and I don't know about you though, but for my business, you know, we utilize the free dump, and I break down boxes like twice a week. I mean, that's how much cardboard I got coming through, and then I take down to the free. So that way I don't have to have a dumpster sitting in my way. Trash is a little bit different situation for you. Were you thinking like a dumpster, like on the sidewalk?
Well,
On that
they
south-
have said that they would
southeast-
build in whatever, so nobody's
Yeah,
gonna
well,
bring it.
Cause
well,
I
It's not like
worry
it's gonna
about,
sit out there.
right,
So-
so worry about people.
Have you
going
seen
in
the
that
picture
alley.
there?
Yeah.
One of the pictures attached shows the,
Where they're-
Yeah,
where's that?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I can't see. The little
It's
storm
around.
or storm shelter entrance, Brian.
I think it's all something we can work with. You know, we definitely want your business. to
Sure.
do it.
Right,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, we're just trying
all
to figure out a way to get
Exactly, like
this.
put it like
Excited.
Yeah.
But I want to do something that's going
Which
to
we
be
did
helpful
have
to the
that.
other businesses on that.
I'm glad they took
Block.
that out.
Yeah.
I don't think
I-
they'd ever-
I spent some time in Waverly when they had their downtown ripped up, and we talked to business owners there, and they said, don't close any alleys before, because they said, you gotta have your house. That's my only concern with putting it in that alley.
And even if it was a temporary structure when that's going on, maybe too, it'd be something we could move
While that's
somewhere
going
while
on.
that's.
Well,
going
I was gonna go the other direction. I was gonna put it temporary on the side and maybe in the back after.
After.
But I don't know, because I think we have to talk to everybody else and see what everybody else wants
Well-
to do there, you know, but
Well, and the other concern is when you do have trash, like I do have a dumpster for my trash, and then it's moving vehicles around. It's getting the dump truck or the garbage truck
Garbage can.
up there to be able to dump it. I
Sure.
mean, if you have it set on the south side of the building, now you're going to be interrupting traffic coming. You know,
depends on where
granted,
they have
it's only a
to go.
couple minutes, but
Yeah.
it is still.
Can they even get it from through that alley? I mean,
It would be-
because we have trouble.
Yeah, it would.
But it'd be right at the end, so
They'd roll it. That's.
Does anybody know what they did when the dumpster was there for the Downs? I remember as a kid walking through.
Even when it was the brewery, it was right by that window.
Yeah.
And there was a single dumpster, but again, that's kind of where he was looking to do, because it's right off where the would be. And it wouldn't interrupt the flow of customers and guests coming in from.
Can they move the window around to the alley? They got one there? And then under that awning there, you put a dumpster there, kind of frees up everything. There's more.
We can look at the size to have, I mean, again, to have a regular and cardboard.
Mike Aaron just got here too, so
Yeah.
yeah, kind of on the construction side of things, so.
But we're talking about maybe moving from the south side to the east side, because he's looking for takeout, that sort of thing. That was a possibility. I don't know what will fit there, but
But you want then the garbage on the sidewalk.
that's what they had brought up.
Yeah, no, that's what would be blocking off on the sidewalk.
Well, you'd have the access going down the basement anyway if you had something right up.
What do you mean access?
On that side.
We're talking about.
Access,
Yeah,
the double doors going down. Or you could have something just to the east of that.
Yeah.
Up on the sidewalk.
Already three.
But then,
We'll have a
Three
garbage
dumpster.
or recycle, garbage, recycle, then you'll have the grease trap. So you'd have three. So that won't just fit on that side, and then would have to, we literally will be out past the awning with any kind of structure
right.
if we did that.
Mhm.
So that's why we're the alley would work better, because we're not protruding out, we won't have that on that side. Cause the sidewalk would become 3-4 feet wide from the curb back.
Pretty much where that fence used to be. And that's not,
It might be a little bit farther out.
Where they had the outdoor kind of.
Yeah, it might come out a little bit farther due to the size of the dumpsters and stuff.
and just with pushing a stroller, I mean, I push a stroller down through there, it's kind of,
Yeah,
once you're past that fence, there's.
Yeah.
Nobody's walking past you while I'm coming through there with the stroller, that's, so you run into the same problem with the guardrail.
I've been in the line at F and M Drive Up before and had to leave because somebody was ahead, waiting. I've been able to back up a little bit, go to the side and sneak out that alley. Kind of like Diane, I kind of hate to see that alley close, honestly. Possibly some changes are coming to F and M's Drive Up. Maybe possibly down the road here that I have heard of, but I don't know what. Would that open things up better? Might be something you guys might want to discuss, that if things move to Midst or whatever, that would open up an area then along Galley where somebody can still scoot by, or they have that overhang in there, that whether or not that would move or slide or change, I don't know. But this time I'd hate to see it move. Unfortunately, I think the south side is probably the best place to put it. And to move the drive up window around, or yeah.
I mean, I guess if we move the drive up window to the back.
It wouldn't be drive up because it's on the sidewalk. Just
Well, I mean, it could be
takeout.
takeout or something.
Yeah.
So now you also got to think about if they do that and take out on the back, the alleyway could be blocked due to people picking things up. And right now, there's many times when I've been by the building, there's vehicles parked in that alley that are going into, like, say, the buildings north of us and to the back side there. So they're using
Right.
that as a parking spot, not a curb. Right, there's random times I come through, there's 2 or 3 vans. And also, I talked to the owner of those next 3 buildings. It's also whether remove all those garbage cans that are around there to work with them, so that way they're not sitting around the building like they are. And that was something I brought up to also the F and M on that.
It looks nice with the long clothes like that.
Yeah, and we know there's also, I don't know if you guys talked about that, there's a gas line and a water line that goes through underneath in that alleyway. Which whatever we put there would have to be able to be moved. It wouldn't be
Yeah,
permanent.
or talking more of an easement than a vacator or anything like that.
So it's just something that would be movable.
The question I have is if this idea of moving it to the south side, with the waste containers and what have you, you have a drive up or walk up window. Right now, that alley, when that people pretty much go north to south. So is that going to make it, people start going, I mean, that's just kind of the thought process, because it's the overflow from F and M, or if there is a community activity, sometimes things are blocked off behind F and M. They can come from that east alley, those businesses there, and can exit. So that's what I'm just trying to figure out with a window there. Does that mean traffic would come in from the south? I mean, it'd be 2-way, basically?
Well, it really couldn't be 2-way because there's basically should be 1-way. It's only 11 foot wide.
Okay, well, that's my
Yeah.
question, concern, that it should be
Yeah,
at
we
one
could
way.
maintain it.
I don't think we have anything marked, but
What was that?
I didn't know, does the city plow that?
Yeah, we, so Chad does go down through it. It's kind of whoever gets there first, because whoever, Phillipson's do F&Ms. And we will plow through it if they haven't been there before us, but a lot of times it's done when we get there. And it's tight. Big one.
Cause it's how wide is it, Jason?
It's 10.5 feet between the utility pole and the concrete of F&M. So there's a utility pole that stands in there. It's about 10.5 feet, so. And the plow that we run down through there is a 10-foot page, so it's running that move.
But we do have, there are questions, or I don't know how many people can come, but, the guys will be in town at 10:30, extending the invite to Brock already, 10:30 Thursday. So if anybody would like to meet the group, if you have any questions or concerns with them, you're welcome to stop by. We'll be at Franklin Street at 10:30.
Yeah, I think at this time, be nice to know what future plans are to the east and
Yeah, again, I just don't feel like there'd be a drive, more of a takeout, like people would walk.
Well,
to grab
Are you talking about?
So it's not a drive-through window, just the ability to run in the building, grab the food, and get out.
Yeah, well, you're in the kitchen on the back end. Or are you talking F&M?
F&M.
Okay.
I mean, I would discuss with if they're planning on doing any changey,
We brought
which
this up.
then that might open things up better.
We brought this up.
Oh, there she is.
Cheers, I'm like,
Oh,
thank you.
We
Worked there a few years, I just can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We don't have any official plans at this time. We're just gathering costs for right now, but yes, we definitely know that we want to improve that flow quite a bit. So
Is that gonna be
It's not-
to the west side of the building, or, I mean, that's
the
just kind of,
whole parcel
okay.
will be
Okay. So I mean, for traffic, like you said, for flow, so they're gonna, is there a drive through on that east side right now?
there's
One
both
other
sides.
side. One other side. Okay.
Everything's preliminary right now.
Till you give it the go.
But whenever you put up a fence, you always want to have great neighbors, you know. As a kid farming, you know, I guess I always learned the rule of meet your neighbors, visit, and try to settle something nicely. So in my opinion, talk to your neighbors,
Yeah.
talk to them nicely.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reached out.
And then once you figure out what everybody there is willing to do or work with, back and talk to us. I think that would be the way to kind of put it.
Yeah, I still want to keep that, the rest of that open for people to at least walk into those buildings. Otherwise, we're gonna be redoing that street.
Mhm.
And if we close all the fronts of the buildings, I'm saying we've got some places along that street that can't operate if they can't get in the back then. So we
Well, they
can't
won't be
close
able
off
to-
that whole thing.
Yeah, on 28, or what is it, East Delaware? Yeah, so if that road's closed off, you wouldn't be able to get into that alley.
I'm not worried about that
Talking
one.
Franklin
I'm
Street.
talking about when we close Franklin.
Okay, all right.
Because if you can't get in the front, you gotta get in the back or
Yeah.
you don't have a business. And
Yeah.
so I just think we need to have those available. And so that has to be a
Yeah.
part of this discussion.
Right.
And where are you planning for parking? Because I know they're planning to put some livable units above that building too, correct?
So,
Where would tenants be parking for that?
City parking.
city park.
Mhm.
We-
We have the city lot over by Textures. Yeah,
Or the.
because I think we get a few of those from the ones above the old sub.
Part of Fairways, the city.
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
so,
The other buildings.
Well, Wes has living places above up
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
so doesn't he?
Yeah, and they-
They do the same one.
yep, they use the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only part, just to make sure, the only part you're asking to
Just-
close off is just behind your,
About
Not-
6 feet of that,
Yeah.
6.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I know,
Yeah.
like, you brought up that it was vacated, would have to split with that
Right.
on that, so that'd be whether or not, whatever decision goes there. But we only need enough to get the dumpsters back there, so whether it still be passed through, but not vehicle passed through, you can still walk through, like through and everything around that.
We're gonna have problems with snow removal. If
What's
we
that?
take 6 foot.
Not on our building.
Yeah, I'm not worried about just you guys.
Yeah.
But
I
is
mean, if we
everybody
had to
else
hire
out
that
there
done
gonna
all
have
the way,
trouble?
we'll see.
If we had to finish the snow on the other side.
I would probably, that's probably, they would just have them remove the snow like what's pretty much getting done now. It's Phillips's.
Phillips's would
Take
take care
care
of
of
That's who we got there.
I guess it depends on it. If you lease it to them and a lease deal, then we wouldn't be responsible.
Right,
for
right, right.
Type of thing.
I just need to know it's possible.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. thank you.
Bringing those dumpsters around to the south side is gonna be really tough, obviously. Hopefully you guys can figure it out and be able to move forward on the east side or something, because that south side is just gonna be a nightmare trying to get dumpsters across sidewalks.
Yeah, I mean, and just also on
Well,
the logistics of them taking them out,
Right.
you know, so.
Well, the decks being above, I mean, if we're gonna spend the money, put 2 decks above there to face that, you don't want trash underneath it.
Exactly.
That our plan is to, on and also above the, or we kept the window in the door.
Right.
To match the front. And keep that for the takeout area, keep the same one.
I guess I'm hearing all this stuff, so if I can throw my own 2 cents. I think we need to be able to
have a temporary plan as well as something that can just be workable long term.
Yes.
So, because we do know that coming up, we're going to have alley access. So if we can find a compromise in the middle that we can do something short term and long term, I think that's probably best.
Yeah, anybody, like I said, is welcome to stop by. It'd be 10:30 on Thursday.
Okay.
10:30 on
Perfect.
Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a wonderful evening. Okay, next item, we have an airport hangar lease rates, new construction. And Jason, you're gonna be talking about this, and
Yep.
you're gonna be talking about the survey work and the grant application
Yes,
as well.
yep.
So, okay.
Aaron's gonna chime in with me on this.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to.
Okay.
So we have a person, Jonathan Walters, is interested in building a hangar out here. And I guess I'm looking for direction from the council of where we want to be with our lease rates and these kinds of things. Like we want to see Jonathan move forward with his project, but we're kind of at a stall right now with what where we need to start at on the leases and these kind of things. Jonathan, you want to speak to what your proposal kind of is, and you can kind of explain where we're at with things and to the council, and go from there. So,
Sure. Council Walter, I don't know what you've had as far as information regarding this for anything. Did you get the lease terms?
Yeah, I provided him a copy of kind of what you're asking for at least.
Any history on anything else from the meeting or anything?
No, well, just from the meeting minutes.
Okay. Gotcha. Just fine.
Yep.
And they're all videotaped, so they can watch them too.
Okay, yeah, yep. So, yeah, basically, my wife and I, Gretchen, we're both pilots. We're from the area and we're looking to get a hangar built out at the airport. We've got 3 aircraft right now. We leased one and we're hoping to kind of expand our operation. And so, Manchester's kind of become our home, and we want to bring my business to that. Gretchen already has a business here in town, and I'd like to bring my aviation side to the airport. So just looking at opportunities to do that. Given the fact that there's no hangars out there currently, the option was basically to build. And so when I approached originally about that, there wasn't a lease option. There's really no spots available to build currently. So I did talk to Tim Vick previously about lease options, and we've kind of gone back and forth about that. And now most recently here in the last couple months talking about just kind of like redoing the lease. I think the airport board has kind of reviewed what's there currently, and they want to make some changes. So that's kind of where this is all coming up. I think, that's what the next couple items in the agenda are going to be dealing with. So, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have about my operation. We can get into the lease rates themselves, kind of where I'm at, what you guys were thinking. I just don't know how in depth we want to get tonight. I don't know how much background and legwork anyone's had a chance to do. So I don't want to get too into the weeds on you, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
How big of a hangar are you looking to build?
Probably 70 by 70, maybe 80 by 80. Just depends on lot availability. I do want enough room to expand. We do, like I said, we've got 3 aircraft now. We'd like to get more aircraft and larger aircraft in the future. Just want to have room for that. So it's not something you can easily add on to. So kind of build now for what you want.
Jonathan, how many aircraft will you have initially?
Right now we've got 3.
3.
Yep. We do lease one that we occasionally bring up in store, but it wouldn't be a permanent.
Okay.
Yep.
How many planes we got out there right now, Aaron?
We have, there's 7 there right now. Pat Schmitz is flying his back, and then there'll be 8, correct, Jason?
Yes.
I think the main issue has been the lease rate as far as just negotiating, talking to Jason and the attorneys. So originally my proposal was for 5 cents a square foot. I think the current rate that you guys had right now was, Aaron, what was it?
Is it 20 cents? 20 cents?
Jim's started off at 20 cents and Woodley's started off at 20 cents, and they go up a penny increase a year.
Okay, yeah, and I was told I think it was going to start at 20 or 23, 24, whatever the current one was.
Yeah.
So there's been some, I know the airport board did a little calling around and checking on rates. I don't know if you guys have the information or not, but the going rate right now in the area is it's pretty variable, but it varies between basically a penny a year or like a dollar a year to up to like 10 cents a square foot. So which is kind of why I initially had a little hesitation on when I saw the lease agreement, just because the rates were so different from what's common in the area. So I think the airport board has that information if you guys want to get a copy of that, or I can provide a copy as far as what the going rates are. But like I said, it's typically between about 1 cent and 10 cents a square foot. The idea here is that if I'm going to come and build, just like any development in town, I need to be able to recuperate my costs, make it advantageous to me to come in and spend my money to build a hangar, which eventually will turn into the city's property, once the lease term is up. So I need to make my costs pay back in a reasonable amount of time that it makes sense for me. At the same time, the city obviously needs to, cover their expenditures. But, I think this would be a win-win for everybody. This is something where we come in and we build a hangar. You're going to get increased activity. It's an increased revenue stream for the airport. They don't currently have, more room for growth and opportunity. We would have with our training that we do. I'm a certified flight instructor. Gretchen is as well. And so previously I've run an aviation business doing flight training, doing various aviation services. Some of those I would like to continue to do. So this would be an opportunity to have more of a business impact out there at the airport and have more activity. So, you would see increased activity with just the aircraft and also field sales. There would be, our clients, typically when we do our training with clients, they fly into us. Some of them do utilize our aircraft. A lot of them, I kind of do custom specialized training that you don't get anywhere else. I'm probably the only guy, certainly in Iowa, but probably around the Midwest, it does like aerobatic safety training. And that's basically just upset recovery training, things we do for safety to teach pilots. Just if they get in a kind of a crazy situation, how to get back out and recover. It's just kind of a standard thing but for certain levels of instructing and certain levels of piloting that you have to do. So when they fly in, those pilots be flying, they're probably going to be buying gas, more activity. That just helps your funding sources directly from fuel sales, but also just more aircraft counts, more activity, which helps your federal funding as well. So there would be an impact that way. I'd like I said, if I have enough room to build a big enough hangar to do the training as well. So something else to consider. But that's just a little history on the rates and kind of where I was at with things. So
What's our current rate right now?
The most recent ones we've done have been 20 cents per square foot for a year, and then they go up by a penny a year.
Yeah, penny a year.
Yeah, that was what we did with Woodley, and then what we did with Fisher. Those, which are the two most recent hangar constructions out there.
And they renew. When do you guys renew?
They annually.
Annually, I know, but
But they have. It was it initially a 30 year?
30 year.
Yeah.
That's pretty common, the 20 to 30 years, just because, their investment of, they want to be able to lock in 30 years. So, the big investment they got on the website. So.
And I think Tim Vick had started at 20 cents per square foot with you, just because that's what the history had been. But then you have been discussing with the airport board about all the things that you will bring with your hangar to the airport potentially. And that's where kind of the rate discussion went a little further. So we've been working with Doug Herman, who's our attorney, and Jason have been working with Jonathan on terms. The one thing is that they feel like they need direction from is where is the council going to be comfortable with a lease rate? I think the other terms you're getting close on, right? I mean, I think things are pretty well.
I think the rate's been the main forward from what I've been hearing.
Yeah. So.
And you're proposing 10 cents a square foot?
Yeah.
For the first 30 years, and then you'll go into that.
Yeah, then you guys can reassess and then set it whatever would be fair market at that point. Yeah.
I was in a lot of those meetings and Bill was too. And I know, and I'm so happy that the airport committee is trying to get something that's more streamlined with our leases and stuff like that. I mean, standardized, yeah. And I mean, the one thing that Manchester has not done, that other communities have, is provide hangars I mean, all the hangars that we have out there, if I understand correctly, is been built by property, yeah. And so we are eternally grateful for that because it's helped make this happen for us. I'm comfortable personally with the 10 cents.
I'm comfortable with the 10 cents.
Mhm.
Hold out for 30 years would be the only issue I would have. I mean, nothing, you know, whether we go 10 and then raise it a penny. I mean, no offense, 30 years is quite a ways and you're gonna have, I mean, it's an expense to you, but I think at some point we'll need to look at bumping it a little bit. 10 years gives you quite a ways to get your base set, get your foot in the door, you know. Otherwise, everything else I basically agree with. I just think 30 years gets to be from 10, raising it a penny, possibly in another 10. You know, it might have to go up another. I mean, maybe two. I mean, for cost of inflation, but by any, I want you to come to there. I really do. I think your plan is wonderful. I think what you and Gretchen are doing is wonderful. My only thing would be 30 years without a little bit of a bump. And I'm talking little, you know. And I don't know what you and attorney.
Doug.
Nice.
Jim, how do you feel about like?
You gotta realize-
guy coming in and he's gonna be at 10 cents. You start out at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rest of you guys all out there start at 20. So
Well,
we're kind of,
focusing, yeah, the two separate issues. Focusing on my situation, there was no history. We had $300 a year, which was, I don't know, that's like 7 cents. That's what we had for a history. When I decided to build, I was being kicked out of Jim Hill's hangar, so I was desperate and I didn't know what was fair. Tim Vick proposed 20 cents. Nobody really did any research. I was on the airport board. We just kind of went with it because it's what he said. So there was really no precedent for that. It was just pulled out of thin air, 20 cents, fine, bump it a penny. Since that time, I've done a survey on pretty much every airport in the state, generally mostly in this area. And like Jonathan said, they're everywhere from $1 a year to 10 cents a square foot. It's the 1 cent increase. Nobody does that. So just keep in mind, nobody else is doing that. And everyone else, like Monticello, we keep talking about, they're pretty aggressive. They're at 10 cents and they've got, you know, places ready to build. So we kind of need to keep that in mind as comparable to try to attract people, whether it's Jonathan or, you know, the next T hangar or another private build hangar. I think we want to kind of focus more on bringing the aircraft than the lease rate. Making the lease rate is a source of revenue, but fuel sales is also a big source of revenue. If we can get the aircraft to come in, I think we can make this thing a lot more self-sustainable.
Well, and I like your business model is different than what Jim's is as far as you're bringing people in for training and so forth. That could have an economic impact to come in, have lunch and do those kinds of things. I don't have a problem with the 10 cents either. I was kind of wondering about the term, to your point, Bill. I have a question though. You know, the city's going to do the pad and then the connecting apron. Is that typical and what kind of costs
I
are?
think that's another question.
That's on the next.
That's the
you'll
next
see
one.
that.
That's the next one. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Jumping ahead. So I'm okay with the 10 cents. I mean, I've talked to several, talked to Craig and I've talked to several people and I think we got to get it done. It's kind of where I'm at.
Jim, I know you can't speak for the entire airport board, but what's their kind of feeling about the 10 cents a square foot? Does the airport board feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for everybody, but we talked about it over the last 2 meetings.
Oh, yeah.
And there was,
I've watched
we
the
were-
meetings and it seems like it's not really.
that was kind of our consensus. 5 cents, you know, that would be pretty promotional.
Yeah.
10 cents would be fair. Certainly it's equal with what our comparable Monticello. It's a lot more than Independence, of course, but so it would be fair if you're comparing to other airports in the area. Yeah.
how about terms? How about the terms? What are the other airports?
The airports start at 30. Some go. In fact, Doug Herman, who I wish was here, brought up the idea of doing first year 30 and then 2 renewables at 10 each to get to 50. I believe Monticello has that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a standard. You don't want someone, especially a young person, to commit spending a lot of money and then have them not be able to amortize that over, at least 40, 50 years. So the 40 to 50 is pretty common.
Jonathan, are you gonna be able to guarantee that you're gonna bring 3 that are gonna be based in Manchester?
Yep.
If you're gonna have 3, that's gonna put us over the 10. The 10 cents doesn't seem to be an issue. I'm in favor of it.
Can I ask, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Brock, but does Osage has an airport too?
Yeah, smaller. We weren't nippiest, but
Okay, yeah. How much are they charging?
I think it was like $150 a year. I mean, it was, I don't know, the sizes varied. I mean, we had a T hangar up there that had 5 that we'd rented out for $150 a year. But yeah, and they're similar to that. I think it was 30-year terms, if not more than.
I'd really like to get it up 10 so we can quit talking about it.
Yeah, right. I have nothing against the lease. My only big thing was
That term.
go 10 and then 10 add a penny. That's 11 cents.
I mean, starting out at 10 cents, I'm completely in favor of.
Yeah.
The terms,
30, I'm good with. I'm just thinking,
right.
in 10 years, any bump.
Well, I mean, it'll be a 50-year total from the looks of it. And
Yeah.
This isn't my expertise. I mean, 10 cents seems fair compared, I mean, from what we know at this point and stuff like that. As far as when the bumps start coming, I would kind of, I don't know, defer back to the airport board. They're going to be the ones that are going to know the most about what leases are looking like and stuff. And go from there.
You guys are kind of still working on all that kind of stuff, getting standardized.
The standardized lease that Doug wrote for the city of Monticello and Independence and a bunch of other airports that he represents, that's kind of where we're wanting to go with our,
Exactly.
keep the lease real simple,
Right.
keep it real basic. Yes, come, build, do your thing. But then we're going to adopt a new set of airport rules to take care of the
Right.
other issues.
The
Not
operational
put
stuff.
everything in the lease, just
Exactly.
keep the lease simple.
Yep.
Yeah, that's already kind of been adopted.
Right.
And in this lease, hopefully, we can make sure that it says he's allowed to run a business out of that hangar.
Yeah. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
one of the items.
Oh, yeah.
that we brought up right away.
When I was looking at wood lease, it was kind of hodgepodge a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Didn't have, some of the stuff that I think we should have in there to protect us, but.
Yeah.
I just make sure that it says he's allowed to run one.
We'll have all the rules
Right.
established, and as a board, airport board, we will, make sure that nobody does anything, that's not conducive to keeping it clean and safe and growing the airport.
The 30-year term, like I said, is pretty standard across the board for the initial. All the numbers I've run as far as amortizing my expenses out, I'm basing it off of that because that does allow me to make it have some sort of advantage to get it worked out in that amount of time.
Right.
Bump ups prior to that would impede that, obviously. But like I said, the standard 30 and some even do 40 initial terms without anything. That's just across the board, that is pretty standard. So I understand the need to increase, but that again, that's what's giving me the opportunity to make it work for my investment. So
And we're gonna get, residual income coming from other things other than just your lease.
right,
So
and my
that-
fuel
that
sales
puts
are
you
going to
there.
offset. Yep. I mean, our activity in our fuel sales, and hopefully we grow and get more aircraft. In the future, I'm hoping you guys start to get jet fuel availability because I'd like to get a turbine powered aircraft at some point and do that. And so that's the revenue stream. So just other things to consider. Just the activity out there. So
Would you be open to the 10 years, 1 cent bump then and 10?
I would, what I have there is kind of my agreeable terms. That's what I've been able to work out to make it pan out for me financially.
Well, I'm just thinking a penny in 10 years shouldn't be terrible. I mean, what are you talking, 70 by 70?
Yeah, no, it's not terrible, but again, just for me to lock in a number, again, this is pure revenue for the city, at this point for the next 30 years, that you don't have right now. And so,
I would go with the 10 cents. I don't know, that. I don't want to do a 1 cent every year thing. Because
I don't
you put them into 30 years and, you're talking some bucks now because, by that time. So, if you want to do it every 10 years or something, that's
all I'm saying, every 10.
I don't see a problem with just leaving it at 10 cents myself. Just because I would like to see all of ours go to the same amount instead of you're paying 20 and you're paying 10 and you're paying 15 and I don't believe in that. I believe that everybody should be paying the same thing. So I think what I would like to see, just me, I would like to see us do the 10 cents square foot. We want to give them the 30 years, that's fine. And then we try to rewrite every other one to match. Because I think fairness is important. And I don't think we have a fair situation out there right now. I think we have certain people, Jim, I'll use you as an example, you're paying more. Is that really fair that you're paying more? So I'm thinking I would like to see them all be the same. But that's just the way I do things, is doing it fairly for everybody.
If I may add, myself and Woodley are paying more, quite a bit more. There's two other hangars that are paying around 7 cents.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough for them to negotiate for more. That would be a separate issue, but those eventually will time out, as well. But I like your
Are they
thinking.
increasing by a penny each year?
No, it was just a flat.
There's just
Those were the oldest.
the oldest ones.
In fact, the latest one was just approved in October of 24
Mhm.
in an effort to get everyone kind of,
Yeah.
To get one hangar from across the
Oh, yeah.
taxiway over
Okay.
to the big one now. So yeah, that just got adopted. That's the 300 a year. So
Which one is that?
Jordan.
Yes, we might do a grant.
Oh, he took over Hills.
Yeah.
He took
That
over
grandfather.
Hills.
Yeah.
That one was grandfather.
It might be hard to ask him to pay. So,
And then, you got anything else? I mean, because then the other terms that go along with Jonathan's, like the billable pad and that stuff, which we're still nailing down where we're thinking Jonathan would go, which would really change, or, how that's gonna play out with, where Jonathan ends up landing, how much grading's gotta be done. We historically, that's, the city this is where you're going, you figure out how you're gonna get there. And, so that's something to think about, that, are we gonna, Jonathan's asking for, provide connecting April in 10 feet of the lease site. That's, we're gonna have some asphalt work and those type of things to get him within that 10 feet of, depending on where we land in that. So that's some things to think about too.
Have you secured where your site's gonna be yet?
Not
completely.
No.
100%.
Pretty close.
Do you have
about
the hip fire idea of what we're looking at for?
So I think Jonathan's building, what we're thinking now is probably potentially to the west of Craig Woodley's,
Okay.
or straight north, which gets him up more on the knoll. So there should be less dirt work and stuff to do, and it gets him closer to the apron. However, the road coming in to the airport now is gravel, which I think that's something that the city needs to look at. Blacktopping that down in there anyway, which would get Jonathan closer. Either spot needs to be done. I mean, it's gravel along where Craig comes up in there too. You guys know that. So that's a proposal that I would have to get yet to be able to blacktop that. And I would probably want to lean on Alexa yet to actual set his building corners. She's with Kirkland Michael. And we're going to talk about that also, of the survey of the airport and some of those things. And that gets us, and then we can get him exactly where he needs to be. So our future
Layout.
Right, set.
We're set. I just don't want to go willy-nilly up here and
Right.
drop in and say, here you go. And so we want to make sure we get everything right.
Especially if we can hopefully sometime down the road get something else.
Yeah.
So, so that leads right to the next item and the survey work.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah, because we had talked with Alexa when she had been here for an airport meeting. We just need to get a handle on the layout on that side where all the hangars are.
Yeah.
Help me fill in here, Jason. So we had her get us an estimate or a quote for that survey work. wanted to bring it to you tonight to see how you felt about that, and then we would bring it to the council meeting Monday if the council was supportive of it. But this would give us a whole,
Get our actual corners where we know everything's at for our future,
right,
future
and
expansion,
elevation.
elevations and all this.
Are you gonna engineer it all out, kind of do something by now, like a new subdivision type thing, like you're gonna have the plot?
It would be, that would at least be able to be done with the work that they're gonna be able to do. We'd have all that stuff into place so we would know.
And it's one of those things that if it's today or if it's tomorrow or a year from now, sooner or later, we're gonna have to survey it out and get that all figured
What
out.
where it started at is when we first started talking about Jonathan's, it was down kind of across from Jim's hangar, straight to the north. Well, there's kind of a natural waterway down through there. And in order to get him in there, we had it backed up so far that it just didn't make good sense. So potentially, if depending on how this lays out, when they do all this survey work and stuff, we can potentially maybe still have some shorter T hangers down in that same area. With all
Where
the
we
work
were
that they
initially thinking of putting Jonathan.
Yeah, by moving Jonathan further to the west, there's no height restriction or anything like that. He'd be out of the height zone.
Because part of your consideration on your lease was you wanted a little taller building, right?
The height of the building that I'm proposing wouldn't fit in the zone, it wouldn't be that close to the room.
Yeah.
It was, I think we had to be 125 back.
It was pretty far back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the taxiway up to his, or the concrete to pour up to his building was a long ways back where the original site was at. So that's why we kind of going back to the drawing board here. And I think we can get this nailed down. A couple of little spots up there that we're looking at. It's just a matter of, it'd be nice to have the survey and have things all
Well,
lined
the
up.
survey would help with long-term planning.
Long term, yeah.
Yeah.
Just guessing and,
Yeah.
it seems like, yeah. So Aaron, we can have money available.
Well, there's another.
Yes, we do have money available to do it. I think the estimate was 65. Yeah. So there would be funding in there. The runway came in less than we were anticipating, but we do have money available. And I think it'd be money well spent for the council because
Like this,
Is this
discussion.
Height restriction.
Is this specifically for the addition of extra hangers or?
Yeah, so this will be for Jonathan's and beyond.
And
So we would
beyond.
have,
And
yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
long-term, I have a-
so it's not just for that spot,
Right.
but it'd be for kind of that whole area on
area.
that side where
Yeah.
the hangars are now. And we have some of that farmland there too that we acquired previously. So just kind of help us get the layout of the,
and there's some
Land
pieces
there.
of the puzzle too that we gotta, because we do release that for crop ground right now. So, that's something that we need to be,
The field on the other.
on the other side of the driveway coming down in, we can release that to Lars now. So that would be something that we'll have to get worked out with Jonathan on his build and that stuff too, that, if this drags into this summer, or fall, or, depending on how soon we can get something going here, that we did have a discussion with Dan because he would be losing some of the lease that he's there. So
It would be nice to have that.
I
It's
laid
just,
out, you know,
it's
yeah.
just real hard for, over the years. I've spoke to more and more people. I'm gonna be truthfully honest, if you talk to the people in town, the airport is like way low on anybody's radar. And so we just gotta make sure we have all our ducks in a row when we say we're gonna spend any money out there. Because the people in this town, the library's one thing, the pool's another for a money pit. But when you get to the airport, unless you're a plane owner, nobody cares. And
Oh, I
and
would
we're all
agree. I
hard to-
mean, I know folks do care, and understand that that's an asset of the
So I
city.
think he was speaking for the most part. Not
For the
like-
most part,
And
if you go and talk and say, what do you feel about the airport? You're gonna get I don't care, I don't want a plane. Well, that's the perception, and that's the perception that I've been struggling with since I got on the council is, I don't care, anybody can say that, no, everybody's in favor of the airport. No, they're not.
No, I'm not saying that everybody's in favor, but I'm not saying everybody's not in favor.
So
You gotta-
I gotta really watch when if we're gonna spend money, we need to.
No, understood. I don't disagree.
And really, and I love the fact that you're gonna bring planes here so we can get our Nibius up to 10 and above, which I think we failed on, and I can't believe we've went this long without been in trouble. I mean, honestly.
The one thing I would like to point out, that when a lot of people talk about our airport, Also look at like Monticello, look at what ended up, or, Dyersville. Look at all these other ones, they got more hangars than we do. All of them got,
Dyersville doesn't.
or not Dyersville,
Airport.
Independence, but they all got more hangars than we do.
But we have to find out what we're doing. So I
Right.
agree, we need service. I think
Right.
So-
we are just shooting blind.
I will,
And this helps
I would
just
like
for
to see
planning.
Yes.
I'll put it on the agenda for Monday.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, we definitely need to make sure we know what we're doing out there. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not gonna make an investment like that without.
Knowing
know
exactly
what-
what, yeah, we want everybody to have our
Right.
T's crossed,
Right.
right, dotted out, so everybody's happy and.
Helps someone spot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, the airport grant application is,
So we can, go on, go ahead.
Yeah. When Alexa was here, we are eligible to apply for a state airport grant. It's an 85-15 match, so we would have to match 15%. So we could apply for some of this grading and
Site development.
work through that. The council,
Offset some of this.
yeah, potentially. So we have to have council permission to, it's like before, permission to apply. That's no guarantee we're gonna get it and no guarantee that you have to, when you're not saying you're gonna spend that money, but it does require a council resolution to just even apply for it. I didn't want to put it on the agenda for Monday before bringing it to the council.
Yeah, I mean.
So we're not obligating anything. We're
Right.
just saying we're gonna apply and see
Well,
what,
they can't tell us no to the free money if we don't ask for it.
right. Okay,
I think it's just
Well,
a smidgen less than 300,000, if I remember right, is the most that.
I think so. I think
We don't-
you're right
That's the cap for the,
Yeah.
for this application. So,
but that would go a long way.
Yes.
yeah.
Now, if we get that grant, hypothetically speaking, and it ends up being 300,000, would we be able to build 2 pads potentially, like build us for the next guy?
I think it will be really close on that, depending on what Jonathan ends up, where we end up with him.
Yeah.
On his hangar.
Yeah, I think where the survey comes out as far as,
Yeah.
she'll have a better idea with the long range. She was
Yeah.
pretty positive thinking about
Yes.
that. It's the waterway we gotta watch out for.
It's, the waterway is part of it. It's from the airport board, we're looking at trying to accommodate this current proposal, the private, also looking at the T hangar potentially in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And possibly, at least for Jonathan and maybe a T hangar and maybe another private box hangar. Just, we don't want to, 10 acres out there. We don't want to develop the whole thing. Just
Yeah.
enough for now and maybe the next 3 to 5 years. So the survey will really help figure that out.
Yeah.
And the grant money could go a long ways in making level paths and utilities. I'm not sure of the scope of work. What
It-
that,
I don't, without talking to Shane, I don't know exactly what he's looking at. You have anything on that, Anthony, so, yeah.
All right, I will have that on the agenda then for Monday for the resolution just approving us to apply.
Yeah, and so as far as Jonathan's lease and stuff, I think we can probably get that hammered out.
I think we have pretty good direction, so we'll work with Doug to finalize the terms.
And I think another thing too that needs to be brought up is if we wouldn't get this grant, this 85-15, are we gonna be comfortable with, with the extra things that we're gonna have to do to get Jonathan where he wants to be? Cause there's gonna be some money spent there to get, and is Jonathan comfortable with doing his own grading and these type of things if we can't get this grant?
but AJ,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say wait for the survey. We don't
Yeah.
know. There may be very minimal dirt work
Yes.
needed, or there might be a bunch. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's just up to them.
Yeah, I say, I think you gotta wait till that survey comes through because part of that is a little flat or.
Yeah.
It's due.
West and Craig, there would be.
It's due coming up.
It's like May 13th.
Yeah, if we had just enough time. So like it's due
I-
May 13th.
I mean, I don't really
And then-
know that discussion needs to be
I
had.
don't know
about
what-
that.
That's an application.
Don't.
I think we
Right.
have to apply.
If we can get it, and then if we don't, then have that.
Apply for or yeah, start.
But yeah, I mean, bringing down.
No, you don't like to apply for the grant.
Bring whole stuff.
Yeah. That are looking for places.
Right.
And we're on it.
We can apply and make modifications to what project, according to Alexa, because we weren't sure exactly where we're gonna be. We're just talking about the grant. So,
Deadline's May 13th.
so we would do the resolution, apply for the funding to do site work. If we need to modify that once, if we are awarded the grant and need to modify a little bit what we are wanting to do, we're able to modify it because we weren't certain.
Alexa also did say on that too, Jim, didn't she say if we sweeten it a little bit with like, we take care of 18%? Or something about that, if we
We
sweeten it.
talked about something with the extra percentage, but I don't know if that was to do with this actual state grant or not. 'Cause it sounded to me like it was 85-15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because we were kind of up in the air where Jonathan was going to potentially locate. We said, how flexible is this money? And she said, typically, if you are awarded, then you can go back to, is it Shane with the DOT? And say, okay, our project's changed a little bit. This is what we're doing instead of this. They approve like an amended grant.
the biggest thing is we just need to get it in there because 15th is our deadline.
13th.
Or 30th. And so we can get it in and Shane usually just comes and overviews the site and he'll have discussion with Alexa at that same time, you know, what we're doing out there. And for future, for Jonathan's site or any other site of the grading, so.
But we'll have the grant application and the resolution that's needed for Monday's
And we'll
agenda.
finish, we could kind of finish maybe getting Jonathan's thing.
But a lot of times we agree.
Yeah, she's got it all ready to go, basically.
Okay.
She's got me the resolution and everything, but I didn't want to even move forward with it. And that's all covered underneath their engineering agreement, so they don't bill us extra for any of that stuff. It's just all part of their engineering contract at the airport.
Perfect.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
And thank you, Jonathan, for checking.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next, Buren, non-food vendors on city property.
So we had a first, but Doug is taking actually a couple calls on this. A gentleman wants to bring in a trailer to the Whitewater Park and sell new and used goods, not food. Basically kind of a mobile garage sale, if you will. And it's just our first time having something like that. Doug does have, so the city code references park regulations set by the park board and I think approved by the council. Doug pulled those out. Those have not been updated for quite a while. So what we're planning to do is update those rules. I did attach them. Just wanted to make sure the council is on board outside of special events, which the rules allow for an approval of that. But we don't want people setting up a mobile garage sale on a random Saturday at the Whitewater Park, correct?
We have a farmer's market that they can go down and join in on that, in my opinion. To have-
Okay.
In my opinion, to have somebody coming down and a garage sale, let's call it a garage sale on a trailer. In our park, when people are trying to whitewater, rafting or fishing or hiking or whatever, that's too much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Farmers market. They want to start.
Perfect venue.
No. Well, the
I
thing
mean,
is,
they already
too,
captured, the food.
we're always hoping for more and more vendors down at the
Yeah.
farmer's market. And when I say we, I mean, as a trainer and I, when we go down, we like to see more vendors and
Yes.
patronize that kind of stuff. So come down and join the party.
Yeah, and so we'll make sure too, because one thing Doug wasn't clear on, Doug Foley, is if the park rules covered the parking lot. So we're gonna make sure that's called out in the regulations.
Will that also address, I mean, because I know sometimes there's just food trucks that set up down, or do they get authorization from the city before they? do that?
They are supposed to get mobile food vendor permits, and for the most part, the ones that have been there are good about it. So they come in, Ben usually reviews them.
So they come to me, we've had a lot of food vendors come through, so all we do for no background, make sure.
Usually if you're at the park, you want to sit down and eat some, like a little mobile picnic, I guess.
Yeah, but we do the stops, we do the checks to make sure it's not.
So we'll bring a revised set of regulations. I don't know if it'll be at the next meeting or the following. We'll have the attorney just review them and look them over and then bring them to the council.
City Pound Facility, Ben.
So, we had a pop-up inspection 2 weeks ago. Obviously, you know, we don't have a full-time animal control officer. We just use Critter Getter as a on call. The facility was in bad shape last time, so she found more that she apparently missed. Shut the pound down.
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Yep.
No.
Yep. We are not able to house animals. Basically was told in a roundabout way that we need to either talk to a veterinarian or determine some other thing, or we'll go place it. So the costs that are gonna have that concrete shelter coming up and up to snuff and probably cost more than what I think needs to be put into it. And the other part of it too is we can look at, so the reason why we get inspected is because we adopt the dogs out. I was also told by the inspector that we're one of the only cities, like 3 only cities in the state that do that.
Okay.
So we can look at different options about having a short-term facility, but we would still need an agreement with a rescue, a veterinarian, something of that matter. Any way you cut this, it's going to cost the city. I'll tell you that the last 2 dogs that we adopted out, we had them for 3 weeks, plus the vet costs and even the recuperation from the adoption fees. I mean, we burned the animal control stuff in one go with $2. So it's kind of what we talked about last year. It's time that we, as a city, decide what we want to do with this. I don't think that, again, I don't know how much money we want to put into this, who we're going to put money into it, or who we're going to hire to put money into it. There's a lot of issues right now. So, just something you guys need to think about. But right now, dispatching the officers are just telling everybody with dogs and stuff like that, they have to contact Critter Getter and pay for it themselves. If it's a violent animal, the officers know that we will still intervene and we will find housing for that. But if it's not anything, if the dog, anybody or is not showing violent tendencies, unfortunately, right now, we don't have any housing available.
We have not had many animals though recently, correct?
No.
The last time we had a dog was.
It was the 2 that we found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And the officers are doing an okay job of it. They know where the dog goes, but it's still taking time away from them. And we're not housing them. We're not getting the fees for it either. So
I have a lady reach out to me about she'd like to talk to me when she can. She's doing some other stuff right now about some kind of a shelter. And you might have gotten the same email. And I told her that we don't have a catcher anymore or a dog catcher. I said we're working with Critter Getters and stuff like that. And I don't know what's the one that's in Manchester now, or that they always show the pets, the adoption ones.
Chart
or Heroes Haven.
Heroes Haven. I didn't know if we partnered with them already or.
I mean, again, it's the same issue we have right now with all the shelters. It's not on all basis whether or not. I mean, if we have a dog, that's the only reason we agreed to adopt these 2 out because they just didn't have room.
Right.
So, and I'm sure everyone saw the Facebook post of the dog that was allegedly left at the dog park, right? We were
And there was one, because my good friend, they took it down to, I think, Monticello facility there.
Yeah.
Somebody just
abandoned a dog there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was a very nice dog, but yeah, I know what is wrong.
Granted, those are the only times in the last 8 months we've had a problem, but we still have to figure out where we're going to go because it's not going to go away. People are going to let the dogs out or scared for them in some effort, but we can't just have them running around town all the time.
Or the dogs get scared or run away from home. Yeah. And then we have all the feral cats too.
Yeah, it's just I want the council to think about either upgrading the facility in some sense. It's going to cost money, or we need to pad the animal control budget a little bit more egregiously to cover the Critter Getter while he does his thing.
Okay.
So,
what was the hits that got us? What was the complaint or what was the violation that got us?
There's tons. So, where that lays in that property,
Yeah,
I think at some point there must have been some holes drilled in the floor to allow water to pre-run. That can no longer be there. So that is a huge no-go. Yeah. Well, just the water. Even though it comes through, they don't want anything going through it at all.
Yeah.
And then those holes too. I mean, they were open. So, you know, animals, mice and stuff can go on. None of the food was contaminated, right? That wasn't a negative. It's just the ability for having rodents or any other animal freely enter the facility. The doors were no longer, the up and down doors, them being signs, were no longer viable.
Didn't they want the flooring? Something
Yeah,
done?
flooring is still chipping even after JJ fixed it again. You know, the dog is in his care report, it's gonna have long nails, it's gonna rip that
It's
floor
not a
up.
good facility. It was just gross.
No,
But it wasn't from abuse of
No.
abused dogs.
no,
or
it's just the
neglect
age
or-
of that
yeah.
facility.
Okay, I just want to get that out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
nothing,
so
nothing,
people-
nothing that
Yeah.
Critter
It's
gets
the
in.
facility.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
facility
just so
for
the
sure.
public hears that.
Is
Yeah.
there a lost dog here, let's say a lost or found dog, or whatever you want to say. Is there a program in town where anybody does fostering for the night or two? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm sure there are good Samaritans. That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if I could Facebook something that.
I know Heroes Haven tries to do it. I think you have to be a little bit careful and make sure the people are vetted, that you're letting foster the animals, because we could get,
Personally, we've done a lot of fosters. But we had to go through like background checks and they had to come out and inspect where you keep the foster dogs. And they just won't let anyone. Yeah, I mean, not saying for a month or 2 months, but if it was an overnight thing or whatever.
Have we as a county, as a city, have we approached, like, the different pounds, or not pounds, but like.
The Humane Society
groomers, Wolfie's
or-
groomers, the
Well,
vets.
that's kind of what we
and
did.
just-
That's the next step. Is what
And
he's saying.
just reach out to them and say, hey, would you be willing, I mean.
That's what he's asking for.
yeah, because I think,
Because
like-
either way, whether it's a vet or Wolfies or any of that stuff. Fair of us to ask them.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
Right.
there's gonna be a cost somewhere.
But there might be I mean, it might be if they'd be willing to do that. Yeah.
and I think in Osage. Jimmy
Well,
Bryan, but-
with these ones, so
Would
we
like
have to
to
take them to the vet within that 72 hours, right? That's the state code now. We keep that dog over, and any animal over 72 hours has to go to the vet. And then, so this one was a different scenario just because there was a domestic situation where the animals, we tried to see if we could help get them back into the home. That did not work. And then we tried to find rescues to see if they were going to, again, you know, even paying Critter Ron an hour a day. We're paying him an hour a day to come in and feed the dogs, clean the kennels, all that stuff. You know, it got to the point where we couldn't wait for it. Right.
Sure.
And so we just had to move forward. So we had Barb redo our adoption paperwork. So that was more copacetic with the code. And we got it taken care of in like 2 or 3 days after we vetted the person. So
Yeah, I think if we try to use somebody that's in town that's got the possibilities like Wolfies or somewhere else, like.
in Osage,
Wolfies isn't a vet.
no, but they would have facility to
They would
keep
have a
them,
Yeah.
facility to keep them.
I would like.
But
We'd still have to pay that because we have them for 72 hours. Technically ours, they're just helping us out. So.
did Osage get the bills or did the,
So what we did, we contracted with the vet, and then you would have to go out there. If I lost my dog, I'd have to go to the vet and go and make it right with them if they had to get shots, or you know, if there was an overnight fee, and then the city charged like I don't know if it was $30 a night or something too that you had to pay to get you had to pay everybody to get the dog out. But then, like you said, you have those situations where they're
Yeah, that's-
abandoned,
that's
then
where
you're
you're
kind of going to be caught holding the bag on that one. But
that's the problem.
that's hopefully that's very few and far between. But
Again, 80% of those animals, again, most people come from. I am concerned with 20% that we are holding the bag, right? Because it does get crazy expensive real fast. You know, like I said, with those $2, just because of the way it turned out, the animal budget was done. I couldn't pay the vet bills and all that stuff. And again, taking the adoption fee off the top. I mean, they're even now. If you told me to go ahead and find somebody to repair it, the money would have to come.
Well, the fact of where it's located in that facility, hopefully someday is going to be different and not there. It doesn't make sense to put something
No,
there.
no.
I was gonna say that too. Even
No,
if we
if-
rebuild or fix what we have right there,
No, I'd
probably
rather
not the location. we're
see
trying
we
to
have
put.
a partnership with somebody that could house them until we can.
Yeah, I think we
It's a vet or
continue with
whatever.
Critter Getter.
I mean, I'd like to think that we could help people when their dog's out, whatever, put the dog up and
And I think that whatever way we go, this should still partner with Critter Gunner, right? I think that that's a huge liability reliever for the city, for the officers, or for anybody else, right? Just in the off chance that somebody gets dead and they have somebody shouldn't, or they bring some home, So, but just having that extra back end would be an ideal direction.
So what kind of direction do you need here?
Well, it would, we need to have a decision on Monday if you want me to start going out to Wolfies and all that and formulate
Yeah,
and see if they want
that would be
contracts.
my preference.
And then I would kind of like to know too if that's a no-go, right? Because I know that a lot of the vets here don't have many facilities. What that's going to look like if Wolfies really says no or anybody else really says no. But I really don't think that we can have our backs on that.
Would be a good idea to kind of give us a rough idea of what you think we're going to increase your budget by.
Yep, I can do that.
All right.
That's it.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
Jason, compost site.
Yep.
You want to do that now? But would you be upset if I let Allison, because she needs to go?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm going to let you come on. She wants to get to, so I'm going to let you do that real quick. Here.
I don't have a ton. I just, I received the ALA grant money on Friday. It was supposed to be sent out on the first, we got it on the first. So, training is underway. I have done 2 of the 3 live ones. One of them was overlapping with another commitment that I had. So I will do that one yet this week. And then there's some other, asynchronous ones that I will do, 4 of them that I will do for that. I will be contacting the contractor this week to get kind of planning and timing, an idea for timing. We're looking at fall, winter, because with all the things I have to do for the grant, I want to make sure that we have all that done before we plan ahead. Maybe 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, we had a sewer line issue, and the sewer backed up into the restrooms, just a little, not bad, it wasn't terrible. We did get that fixed, and did some root sawing and things to get that fixed. But when we do the construction, we will need to contact that person again and have them kind of work with the contractor, to make sure that everything's okay now. And then the only other thing I'm hiring right now, we're hiring for summer help and for circulation clerk. Interviews will be done tomorrow evening. So we should have an offer in probably on Wednesday sometime to both of those positions. And there is an option for the summer help to be a little bit more long-term instead of just seasonal. It could be that they help either fill in when people are sick or on weekends, or it'd be evening weekends is all that they'd be able to do. But there might be that option. So I'll talk with Aaron about that and what that would look like for budget and things like that. But I think that would probably still work if we decided that we needed to do that. It's hard sometimes to find subs to come in and things when you only have 1 or 2 people that can do it. So it's nice to have another option for evenings and weekends. So yeah, so that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Now we'll talk dirt.
All right. So I think there's some questions about what's brush there. I don't know if it's got misconstrued or what, but there's compost available for the people out there. It's just that we put it inside of the gates because obviously we had people coming in and taking big loads every time we put it out. So there will be compost out there. Our goal was obviously is to start to get it cleaned up. And obviously if anybody's been out there and checked it out lately, we're getting that done, but there will Dubuque Hardwoods has to come back in and screen again here sometime in the future. But we have enough compost out there by doing it this way for the people that can come. Like this morning I went out and the pile was almost gone inside of the gate. So people are using it that way. And most of the people that I've visited with out there are happy to see it because the 5-gallon bucket
able to get what they want.
they can get some compost.
Right.
So,
And people still have the availability to contact you if they need more, correct?
well,
Or not?
no,
Okay,
I think we're
I
going,
misunderstood
yeah,
that.
we're going away from that because,
okay,
just we don't produce as much as what we used to be able to give away big tandem loads or dump truck loads or dump trailer loads.
right.
So I think it's
And we're
best
trying to spread it out amongst everybody. in the city.
Everybody has a
So-
fair chance.
So, yeah, I've had quite a few, and most of them, after you explain it to them of why we're doing it the way that we're doing it, even the big load people have been, they understand why, why we're doing it the way we are. And there'll be plenty of compost for if we keep doing it this way. Before, we were trying to actively get rid of it just
Right.
because we had so much of it, and as we were composting it down,
Mhm.
we had way more. Now, the way to do hardwoods, they're actually doing us a favor by taking it and getting rid of it. And then when their contract is up here in January, we can talk to them and say, hey, we want to keep 4 windrows or 5 windrows, whatever we want to keep for the citizens to have their small amount of what they need it for.
And that's the complaint that I've heard is we just gotta make sure that we
Yeah.
have enough
Yeah.
that it's always available.
Yeah.
Especially in the springtime when people are planting their gardens. We gotta.
Some of the complaints I'm getting to is with the gate being the way it is.
Yeah.
You gotta load the bucket, you gotta carry the bucket over there. And I mean, the average
It's no
demographic-
fun.
I mean, our average demographic is not in the youth side, I would say, so it gets kind of hard for some of them. The other thing I will say though is we should probably do something about publishing out
Yeah.
where it's at now, because I've been out twice and I've seen people out there trying to dig up the old compost pile that's no
Yeah.
longer there just
Yeah.
to get some compost.
We did put a temporary sign out there a week ago, and I think people were getting it, but we're kind of waiting on the right verbiage to put the sign, a permanent sign up.
And we'll get something out there on Facebook and share that out.
But yeah, there's probably enough out there for screening right now for 2 to 3 more years with what we have on site out there right now. Cause they come and do, they screen us a pretty good sized pile and they take the overs away. So like I said, even with what we have out there in a big pile now, there's a couple years.
So we're not hauling out compost, we're only hauling out
The overs and then what they grind out of the big pile right now. So where you're dumping your brush at, your grass clippings right now, when they grind that, they haul it off. And that's what we'll have to, at some point, then we'll have to just say, hey, we want to hold back 3 or 4 windrows of this to make our compost. But
Yeah,
at this,
that's what I think is the misconception.
Yeah.
Of what's going on.
yeah, because they just think we're going to get rid of it all and not ever have any back. And that's just something we have to work out. The hardwoods, they'll do honestly whatever we want them to do.
We don't have a 1 bucket limit.
No, this was just like, you can go in there and double up whatever you need. It was not important. Yeah.
And you can,
If you want to shovel a pickup load, knock yourself out.
it's still close enough to the fence that you can shovel over the fence in the back of a truck, right? Or
Actually,
not?
it's through the gate.
Through the gate.
So you back up to the gate, through the gate.
They're like cattle panels that are out there. with the
Okay.
Opening in the center, so you'd have to back up to the opening,
Throw it through.
throw it through. You gotta leave yourself enough room to get in.
Okay.
But what was happening is we had people with large trucks.
Skid loaders.
Skid loaders and
Scooper.
scooping them and then nobody had it for their gardens.
Yeah.
And so that's what.
I'll be the first to admit, like, it's not convenient for,
No.
people that want to pick up
No.
load. It's not, but it's the fairest way, I think,
Yeah.
for the residents to be able to get it.
I got 4 buckets on Saturday night. That was still a nice pile there, but
Yeah.
it was nothing. Compost doesn't weigh.
Yes.
Wasn't that heavy?
So, but yeah, and we'll work with the Dubuque Hardwoods when it comes to contract time. They're well aware of what we want to do. Like if we run low, they'll bring me a load of compost from somewhere else. So if we get short, they've been awesome to work with. So
Well, thanks.
hopefully that clears up some of the,
Misconceptions.
yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yep.
Urban chickens, Brock,
So,
but you picked a
Yeah.
topic to talk about.
Picked her.
Meeting.
yeah,
It was thrown on him.
right. So I guess I probably would want a little background on, we kind of talked about what the city wants to do to kind of a little more standardized process. I mean, for or against, or, you know, either way. I mean, you probably just want to have something in place that says, okay, if you're going to have them, these are the standard practices. Do you need to bring that to council, or is it something where, you know, what was brought up to me is maybe having your neighbors sign off on something that they're okay if you have it, and then you could approve it in a consent agenda type situation. But I mean, there's plenty of options to do something, but it's kind of, what are the thoughts of?
How did you handle it in Osage?
So we had it as a part of our, animal control or animal protection. It was like chapter 55. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but, and it was like 6 chickens, no roosters, had to have X amount of square foot per chicken, and your coop had to be, you know, so far away from the neighbor. So there were some standards to it. And then, there was talks. I mean, you can charge a fee for a license. We never got into that part of it, but I don't know if it's uncommon to have to pay for a license to have them. But yeah, there was just a set of standards that we had. So then everybody was following the same thing, and this would come in and we just kind of log what you had almost, you know, and then just so we knew who had them and who didn't. So if we got complaints, we could say, well, yeah, they have this or that, or at least you have some sort of list of people who have them, and then that way, you know, the city kind of took our liability away from it. You know, if anything happened to them, it's kind of just on your own. If the fox gets in there, if the neighbor's dog gets in it, it's not really kind of a civil matter at that point, obviously. So I think, yeah, just having that standardized. Okay, this is what you got to. If you want to have them, this is what you got to have. Or if you don't want to have them, then you just
And
don't
then
have
what
them.
if they don't, I don't want to have another thing for police to have to police.
Right.
If they don't keep them penned like they're supposed to, they lose that right. to pen
Yeah, I
them.
can't remember if it was something, if it becomes like a nuisance at that
Yeah,
point, and then you have to abate the nuisance. Like, you have to.
I think when I read, I think it was.
Did I send it to you?
You
Yeah.
did, and I think it became a nuisance issue if they
Yeah.
became loose or not kept
Then it
well.
would become a nuisance, and you either have
So
to
then-
abate it, or, you know, I'm sure you could put some language in there that you could be not allowed
Well, I'd
to have
like to see it get out of our hands.
I like standard.
You know,
Yeah.
have it standardized so you guys.
Yeah. Is it something that you guys don't want to have to approve every time? Is what I'm kind of getting at.
Just don't
Sure.
Well, I would rather that we not approve them. I think that you come in just like you get
Like a building permit or something. Yeah.
So you know that you have a dog in town. I think if we do it the same way
Yeah.
there, I don't know that I really support having a fee. And
Yeah, I don't think it's
and I
nominal.
definitely do not support asking your neighbor for permission.
I do.
I do, for the simple fact that, well, you guys must have some really cool neighbors or something.
No,
but
because
my
they
neighbors-
stink.
Not if you take care of the fence.
Okay, now,
Well,
Brock,
but
when we
the
were
thing-
talking, you suggested,
Well,
But if they have
I
the
don't-
right size,
no, and, just,
okay.
go
the
ahead.
thought I had, I don't know if this is even, I haven't reviewed it or looked into it beyond just the thought of it, but you could almost have like, I don't know how you guys do it with your Board of Adjustment, but for our Board of Adjustment, you'd have a public hearing, obviously, on your project. So if you wanted to have, you know, whatever, 0 setback, you then, everybody within 200 feet would get a letter when you go to publish in the paper. And then if they don't care, they don't show up, and you're good, and they approve it, and you're fine. But if you have any pushback, that's your chance to, you know, state it at that time. If you're opposed to it, and then if it's obviously, if it goes to the Board of Adjustment, it has to be a voted on thing. So it kind of,
But at that point, it could go into the consent agenda, and if, you know.
Well-
After they approve it, if the Board of Adjustment approves it, it can go into consent.
if the Board of Adjustment approves it, it's
Well,
done.
it's dead.
Yeah, I think we
yeah.
would.
There's no, if you want to appeal it, then you got to go to district court for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but I think we would build in some mechanism like that, but not necessarily make it go to Board of Adjustment
Well,
for the chicken.
But I like that idea of it just automatically going out to the neighbors.
And then that way, I mean,
Talk to your neighbors.
right, you don't have to ask for it personally, but if they want to come and say something, they could, I guess.
Right, but I think if you just have a regular sheet of paper and Sam says, hey, I wanna have 6 chickens. All right, perfect. Here's your sheet. Fill it out, get your neighbor's signature, bring it back to us.
Yeah, you could be.
But that assumes you have a good relationship with your neighbor. If there's ever been a property line dispute or something go on, I mean, what if it's a vacant property and you,
Right.
yeah, so I don't know that it's,
Even there, hey, listen, Great.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably just want to have a
6 feet
standards.
off the,
The vacant lot, you say vacant lot to the right. Nobody crossed here, nobody that way. You're probably not so much worried about the guy out back, but. or-
Can I ask, why do people want to have chickens in town?
For eggs.
eggs. Yeah.
Fresh eggs, well,
Fresh
there's
eggs,
Fairway,
children.
there's Payless, it's also.
I
Which are there 99 cents?
Second,
Chad has eggs.
I had to.
go ahead.
So,
You don't live in the city limits.
correct, but a big part of the reason I have chickens has nothing to do with that.
It's
It's
responsibility.
all about something for my children to have.
Take some
chore
responsibility.
Morning and night is their thing.
And that's fine,
So I mean,
But-
there's a lot of different.
but
avenues
you know,
for-
then we could say, well, let's have a cow too, or let's have a pig.
Well,
We already. have
We're not a
some-
farm. City limits are city limits, and there's a reason farm animals are on farms. They're outside of the city limit. I lived on a farm. I shoveled a lot of different kinds of
I have two.
Stop.
I don't like them either, but but I like what you had at Osage, that you have to have this much feet, much square footage and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
That if you have that and people adhere to it, and then I like the idea, you know, like the Board of Adjustment, you send out a letter to the neighbors and
That, yeah, I don't know of the validity of that. Is that something you can take to the Board of Adjustment or not? I don't know. I mean, it would have to be probably in your zoning code. And,
and say, sign off on my chickens.
right. You're kind of getting, and then, yeah, are you, the thing is, yeah, are you inhibiting somebody's ability to have chickens just because their neighbors doesn't like them? Then the neighbors,
Or rabbits.
right.
Yeah. So as long
Right.
as they.
Yeah.
That might be a little above and beyond. Yeah, and I think if you have the criteria of this is what you have to have for a coop, this is how many you can have.
Right.
And if you violate this, then, okay, you make the penalties, then you're done. Yeah.
Right, you check the boxes. You're-
Because I don't neighbor with the really,
Yeah.
only have 6, no roosters. You got 30 days off the property line.
I don't have any control.
Going in after the neighbor.
Yeah, that'd be probably the simplest way to standardize it, at least, and be the least burden on if, if police have to enforce it.
Instead of
Yeah.
letting
Yeah.
the smell of them.
So how about we draft an ordinance and we'll bring it back for you to review? This will just be a draft from what we've gathered here, from
Yeah,
what
we can-
Brock has in Osage. And I know that Doug Herman had sent me a couple options
He did too. Well, he would be the one that you'd want to.
So we can kind of look through all those.
When you came over to my place and inspected my solar panels that time, could you smell my chickens? I had 12 of them in the back here. I'm just gonna put that. They're gone, but I had 12 in the backyard, and I appreciate Tim for letting me know that it was in violation. I probably should get
That's
it straightened out if,
Well, you're not on the neighbor thing, there's people who. My job, I deal with a lot of neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couple weeds in the backyard, all weedy around the post.
Yeah, you just gotta treat it like dogs, cause everybody has dogs, you don't have to have
Yeah.
permission. But
Yeah.
Cause the neighbor doesn't like this neighbor. I know one of them that you guys actually approved. For chickens. The neighbor directly to the north. Does not want. them because they don't get along. Although other neighbors on 50% are perfectly fine. No, so
there you go.
not let it, is that one person that doesn't
Why
like
not?
it.
Right. If you've allowed them before, yeah, it'd be tough to go
So I just-
back on
that's
that.
I just don't want it to get out of hand that we're gonna start having pigs and cows too.
Okay, so we can continue to work with city attorney and just try to come up with some set of standards. And we'll bring that to you guys to approve, obviously, but
The reason when we first started, the reason I say that was, well, because eggs cost so much. Well, pork costs so much, and so does beef. So, you're gonna get a pig, you're gonna get a cow. I guess I'm just trying to find out what the true reason is why we do it, so we don't open up another Pandora's box.
Because it's America, and we're eating the right chickens.
Yeah, you're in town, you're not out. Not out.
All right.
We'll go on. So you're gonna bring us something in, right, Brock?
yeah, we'll work on something to bring forward, try to mash up a few different ones that might be applicable and try to standardize it so it's not so, like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a card carrying license around that you can have chicken, but
I'm sorry.
There's one town one town that puts tags on the ankles of whatever you call them, claws of every chicken.
No.
I think it's somewhere around here.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they band their legs so that you know it's a licensed chicken. Well, true.
That would be, yeah.
We'd get numbered ones like dog tags. No.
It's not fun to chase them down Main Street, is it?
Phone number on it, so that you know, could call and take the chicken back.
We'll get them little vests.
It was,
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
it was-
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, is there anything more on our chicken? I think we're done. Okay, East Main Street and Madison Street intersections, and this is Brock and Jason.
And say.
And Sam.
And Sam.
Um,
You guys had an estimate at
Yep.
the table.
This was we covered last meeting of whole. Think about the 4 corners of Main and Madison. So we only received one. Yep, correct, right out here. Only received one quote back from concrete contractor of Eastern Iowa Excavation. We did send out 3. Only received comment questions and only received 1 back from Eastern Iowa. And then a price from River City Paving. JK got a price for them to do the overlay from Franklin Highway 13 back to Tama.
So pick up where we left off.
So all the way back to G and B where we left off.
Yes. So the big portion of it is obviously fixing the ADA ramps and stuff over here and then trying to make some minor adjustments to the intakes of the corners to try to get us a better ride through that intersection. And also clean up the ADA ramps in the corner. So the price came back at the mill and overlay was $68,134 and the curb and ramp repair was $63,810. It obviously needs attention, but I think there's some other things that, you know, what's going to happen in the future with the downtown is this, that's probably further discussion than what we're going to have here tonight, but do we want to invest, 32,000 for.
How many years before we get to that intersection?
Well, I think we're gonna need to have
That's a whole other discussion. Yeah.
I think we're gonna need to have like just a work session maybe on the downtown on that project
Yeah.
and the stormwater.
Yeah, that intersection right there, for half of that down, is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that's what we're talking.
So Friday I was bouncing around
Mhm.
and stuff like that. When I walked over, there's a crack right there in the corner when it comes down
Yeah.
to the intake. I could stick my entire fist in that crack.
Yeah.
So,
It
let it be
definitely,
what it be, you know?
and that definitely needs attention. over there,
Right.
No doubt about it.
And with rag coming, that's kind of a,
So the mill and overlay probably wouldn't adjust that a little bit,
It kind of,
void.
it all needs to be done
That's what
in
I'm wondering.
conjunction with each other. That way we can, there's not a lot of adjustment that we can make in those intakes anyway, the way that they are without getting them out of those corners. But we can make some minor adjustments to them and then just milling that off will get us a better ride through that intersection.
Think found plans from 1996 from some of the cores. Granted, it's not gospel, but there should be 5 to 6 inches of asphalt before you get to the brick. So hopefully, if there's 5 to 6 inches, they might be able to mill a little bit more off to try to lower the crown, if you will, because the intake can't be raised. You got to get falls. You're not creating a ponding situation or a puddle. So the intakes.
Mhm.
that Main Street is on top of brick. We didn't it's never been completely.
There's brick all the way up north.
1940, 35.
Yeah, all the way up North Franklin.
So this amount would cover that intersection back to GP.
To Tama, yeah, just this side of, where we left off last year.
Right.
Yeah. And it would mill out that whole intersection so it would go in the back, to end the radiuses on Madison Street too, so we can get the ADA.
Because the ADA could be fixed without the mill overlay. We initially kind of had looked at is trying to basically remove the curb, remove some of the street, and then going back further about 20, 25 feet back on the sidewalk to bring the ramps down to get them to be compliant. And then at that point, you could match an asphalt around that. We can look to see if, say, some of the crown can be taken out of the intersections to try to help with the dips. And I'm not going to make a guarantee that's going to be perfect ride quality without completely redoing everything. And then too, I don't know in between if you hit a spot, well, there might be this core might show 5 to 6 inches, but is there a thinner area somewhere else where you get down in a brick and then you can't go any lower, and that's is what it is. So it's
The big thing too is if we're gonna go, we need to act on it pretty fast because for one, River City needs to be able to get it scheduled in and Eastern Iowa, and we're on a time crunch to get this done by July 25th. I mean, and
Would they do it?
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
Both things, the corner Frankfurt areas?
I mean, if we can get something shaken, I think we can get it happen. But the big thing too is that a big portion of it.
We could utilize some local option sales tax monies for this. If you wanted to do this, so it's just, we've got to figure out the downtown.
The bigger discussion than
Well,
what
I
like the last year and a half.
this one, but so we mentioned that a couple times. It kind of got bandy, got a little bit peeled off there the last committee of the whole meeting. That's something I think we have a work session on.
Mhm.
The big piece of that is we don't want to get too many people riled up on doing this, that, the other thing. It's gonna kill my business. All these things. We need to look at that, and then we gotta look at costs and see what you guys are willing to stomach. Because we do have some initial things that we can show you when the price tag is hefty.
Mhm.
So it's going to be to sit down with you guys and say, yes, continue moving forward, because we've already put a lot of time and effort in this. Sam's put a ton of time and effort in what we've looked at down there to fix some issues that we have in our downtown area, and plus it just needs some love. And then we need to figure out if we're going to do that, we do a downtown concept and get a bunch of people involved in what the design is going to be. So this is something that we need to sit down and take the time with you guys to see where you guys feel comfortable moving forward with.
Yeah, I just don't want to throw a Band-Aid on.
I agree.
it quick.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
This project that they're talking about now could potentially be a Band-Aid if you guys see what been working on and see that, well, geez, in 4 years, we might be just tearing that all right back.
Yeah, that's
That's the thing.
worry.
I can't.
So that is why I don't know when that meeting needs to happen or when you can make it happen, but
Sooner rather than
I would say
Oh, yeah, whenever.
that we discussed.
Want to do it at that 18th, or is it?
The bigger picture of all this.
Agreed, but
Do we have to stay on Mondays?
I think that's gonna happen.
Typically, it works best for everybody.
Sooner than
But we
later.
could do Monday, May
Yeah, I
18th.
think it might have come out in 4 years, it's fine.
Maybe it'd be longer, but that's.
Maybe it's longer.
I mean, we do need, this is a big discussion that we were moving this direction, and, when we all started talking about this stuff, we didn't know we were losing the city manager at the time that we were working on this with. And then we got to a spot and said, okay, we need to wait for the new city manager to bring him up to speed, but we were able to meet with him today and let him know what we've been working on. And he agreed with us and said, we need to get this in front of you guys before we can move forward.
Oh, I
Anything
understand.
else.
Absolutely. But my concern is just as a Band-Aid, and then you're respending. I need to hear more from you guys.
It's one thing,
the
but it would be
experts.
10 years down the road, and the phasing of this. If it was 10 years, it's a different deal.
Depending on what you guys look at and decide, what could it be 10 years? I mean, could you just make that
Understood.
decision and look at the plan? That's where it's right now, where it's kind of up in limbo. It could be this, could be that, but we don't know exactly what direction the city might go, or if there's something else that comes up and 2 years down the road, you're like, oh, we can't do something here. We got to fix this problem.
Well, I like your idea to sit down. That's really hash this out. Because my last concern is prettying up that section for Ragbri.
Yeah.
It doesn't make-
Well,
yeah,
Well, and it's just in general too. I mean,
Right.
we've had
that's what I
people
meant.
fall.
I mean, we've got downtown, we got cracks in between our sidewalks that are as wide as my fist. And we're about ready to have 40,000 people come through and look at our city. It's going down. I mean,
Would Monday, May 18th work for you guys?
I'm out for 10 days. Yeah.
Okay.
But no growing.
Or do you?
So you're talking 132,000, the overlay and.
And
the intersection.
And I think there's a bigger discussion.
Yeah, I think we
There's
need
a
to
big
meet.
discussion. There's just a lot of moving parts to it that we need to get hammered out before.
I mean, on Sunday the tenth and get back on the 20th.
I mean,
Can we do it before the 10th?
I mean, again, but that's up to whether.
So this
I mean, I
week,
would like to be part of that.
Yeah, and I would love for you to be a part of it, and I also don't wanna wait until June to start having
Yeah.
conversations.
Right.
Right.
if we kick it out a couple weeks, it'll be probably pretty hard to get them
I mean,
scheduled.
what night works best for, we need 24-hour notice posting. I mean, would you be able to present on the downtown project in a couple days?
Well, to the council, yes, and that's,
Yeah.
I mean, we can basically talk about what we currently basically what we talked about this morning.
Yeah.
And kind of have that further discussion and look at a timetable, and then I don't know. The other part of that, is there anything else, I guess, Jason, that you want to talk to Brock with, anywhere else in town that may impact on the phasing or what year, how things go with phasing? And
We have a kind of a 10-year plan of what was, it's up, but it usually gets redirected. And that's when a problem arises. But, yeah. So I can bring that, we can hash it out, and but that can be with it, but we're just worried about if this drags into a long period of time, if we don't see anything out in the residentials, for
10 years.
10 years. Yeah, we could, who knows how long, but what we're comfortable borrowing and doing.
To rip the Band-Aid off the booker without meeting, I guess. Sam, could you email all of them the
phase map?
The phase map, and then the preliminary estimates that you've kind of put together?
For the first two, I'd say we had ones for the whole downtown kind of a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the way we phased it, those have all changed.
Yeah, but the overall cost isn't gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be more, because every year you wait, it's more.
Sure.
So it's giving them kind of the gist. Cause I know it's gonna be hard to get together. So now you guys can see what we've been. That map, I think, really is a good visual.
I could look back at what we originally had and pretty much use that number.
Yeah.
And
we do
try
Thursday.
to,
Yeah.
get a rough overall number.
Could we do
And then
Thursday?
that can help you guys then
You
get
guys do
back
Thursday?
quicker.
That's
the only thing we have.
Just,
Yeah,
would
that'd
this
be the
a-
only single item.
Yeah.
around.
You guys have to go.
Yeah.
Or Wednesday?
Thursday work for you? What day, Bill?
When?
Thursday for you.
I'm going.
No, usually, yes, no. My problem is Thursday, I'm always stuck at work till 6.
What about Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I'm free every day except for tomorrow, and that's not enough time anyway. The notice that's all, we're good.
Just
So 6.
What do you, I mean,
Yeah, that's fine.
are you okay with that?
5
I
o'clock
think
Wednesday.
Yeah, we can.
You gonna do the 6th at 5?
Yeah, that way we can act more on this.
I'll have to be out here by 6:30.
That's fine.
Hopefully we're,
Hopefully we can wrap it up in the.
It's senior.
I know, I've got something after that. So.
that should, hopefully we're done.
Yeah, I'll work
Yeah.
with Pat,
I
Nathan,
think
and
we're
Aaron,
gonna
and
go
what
at
I
one
did.
meeting. Yeah.
First, I've sent to them and work with them on, do you want more, what information exactly?
He's a senior.
So Wednesday, May 6th at 5 PM. Okay, and this will be the only item on the agenda.
You, and then you have,
What's the?
West Main, yep, and that from,
Who's talking about there?
so that's the stretch from where the county left off last year off their white topping, coming in on Old Point from the airport. There's a short stretch in there that goes from county to city to state. And that stretch in there is beat up pretty bad. And that's this price for overlay on that area there. And this could be in conjunction with the airport project. So when they move in to do the airport overlay, we'd mill this off out there and overlay that also. It's in pretty tough shape.
Either right from the from the stop sign there in front of the bank
Yeah,
to Norby's.
yeah, there's a header right there at Highway 13, just outside of it, and then it goes to the west.
That's cities.
That's city. Yeah, yeah. We, I don't know.
Who goes county, city,
City,
state?
state. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Oh, boy. How do you guys keep all this stuff straight?
so if that's what that's for, there's some painting issues out there too. There's some old rumble strips and stuff, and it's just honestly, hindsight, we probably should have piggybacked with the white topping project coming in a year ago and did this, but hindsight's so.
So
Anyway,
like 100 yards, 150 yards.
no, it's further than that. Yeah, it's it's almost 5,000 square feet, so yeah, pretty good.
So it
stretch.
goes from the west parking or driveway of Norby's,
Even west of that.
even what? Okay, where it wide.
Yeah,
Okay.
because our corporate limits is out to that next big
Next
fence.
fence line.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's another one too that it'd be nice if we have that we can act on that one. We can take some of that out of our small project that we earn with the.
That was gonna be my next. That was gonna be my next question is where do we have?
Yeah, there'd be money there and then some in local option because with the way the Anderson Street came in, it came in lower than what we were budgeting for. So I do have a little bit of flexibility. And when I told Tim that, he would assume I'd have a lot of flexibility. There's only a little bit of
very
flexibility.
vague term. Yeah.
And I know, like you said, we don't want to go spending a whole bunch of money just for RAGBRAI, but that is a stretch of road there that they're coming in and they're going to be moving at a fairly decent speed coming through there probably. We can Band-Aid it up and get them through there. Not a problem. It's not doable. You gotta wait a year. And stop with having them at the airport doesn't get any closer to the mobilization.
Right.
So drive over.
Yeah.
How does it work from the Four Corners out to where we would be stopping on that mill and overlay? Is that state? It's problem coming down through on West Main?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we did it as a conjoined project in 2021 or 2020 with the state and city.
So it gets goofy with
parking lots. So
Any other questions for Jason? We'll let you have a seat.
So I will have this on the agenda for Monday. Is that okay with the council? Okay.
All right, and then RAGBRAI update.
And I don't think we have anything we really need to update right now, but we will include this as a regular item, just to keep you up to speed. We're still negotiating, I guess we still are negotiating the route into town with the DOT. So we hope to have that formalized soon too, because they want that announced by middle of May. So, and there'll be an ordinance we'll need to pass for the day to deal with vendors in general. And then some like using golf carts, etc. So for that, it just goes into place for the day of RAGBRAI and then expires at the end of the day. But it's just part of the process. So we'll be bringing that to the council too.
Are you still looking for volunteers to help with that?
Oh yeah.
Just put your name on it. We
I'll put you down. Yep.
Even if I only have this out there the best and wait people like
Well,
track.
yeah, we need information booth people too. So David, I will add you to the list.
So Sam, do you want to say anything else tonight?
A few items. Start with Anderson Street. We had a progress meeting last week. Discussed with the contractor. So water and sewer services have been installed. They're getting their road kind of graded. And you'll start to see rock going down this week. And then we talked with them about paving south of Butler Street, which will be next week, tentatively, as long as the weather comes. Initially, we're looking to pave the whole thing at once, but just with the way the weather has been, we're going to try to have them pour south of Butler Street. And then once that's paved, they can kind of work on sidewalks drives and then work on utility work going north. Hopefully that kind of helps seal things up and helps deter a little bit of some of the groundwater. Obviously, with what's going through Ballpark, that's kind of the main issue. Hopefully, it stays dry and dries up a little bit for them, so that water table goes back down. Another thing we talked about was we discussed open cutting the storm sewer pipes across on the north side of Butler Street. Basically, looking at almost Reese and I was going to get back confirmed costs, but at this point, the idea is to not increase any more than what it was for trenchless. So basically, instead of going trenchless, go open cut. And I think it would help them just with the groundwater and whatnot. But just wanted to give you an update on that and about the paving. So next week, assuming they're going to get in there and pave, start getting this thing set, getting the rock graded. There'll be a lot of commotion mid to late next week with really much trucks going in and out of there. So just be careful, cautious of that. Any questions on that project?
We got rock down today.
They had rock down. Yeah, we did a proof roll last week, Friday. I think they did not proof roll today. Area was out there for so. But yeah, I mean, I think it dried up pretty well. I know we didn't have any soft spots. They had a core out last week. I don't know today. I haven't heard anything. I doubt it, but I can't be certain on that. I think it was stiffening up pretty good with some of the dry weather that we've had now. That sand usually dries up pretty good.
Must be, because I had about paintings coming off the wall. With the caterpillars there today. Yeah,
hard.
All it was vibrating all out. Yeah.
The 2027 Anderson Street improvement projects, we kind of got to get a meeting set up with city staff to kind of review preliminary plans, but looking to get easements and letters sent to Aaron to potentially looking at week of May 11th, so then the permanent easement letters can get out to property owners, so we can get those going, because utilities are going to look to piggyback on the city easement, just kind of like how last year's project we called it a 2-foot sidewalk and utility easement, so the utilities can leave 4 under the sidewalk. Still telling them obviously no handholds in the sidewalk, no pedestals in the sidewalk, and trying to working with them up the submit plans for clear zone or what have you. I guess question on that, Aaron, I keep forgetting to ask you. Signature for the cover letter, do you want to throw you or put Brock on there now? Brock, I think you can have all the fun.
Throw it under the water now.
Yeah, so we'll get that put together, and it'll be similar to what we've done in the past. It's kind of a brief cover letter of an update of the project, and we're city's requesting an easement because then we'll let them know that there'll be a public meeting at a later date. So storm sewer wetlands that we're working with IDLs on, that Ryan's working with them on. Just a quick update on that. He spoke with Krogman's and Neiman's, and IDLs is preparing the fair value compensation for the land. So Krogman's is an agreement to kind of get more information, and they're preparing that information, and we'll present that to them. But like I said, there's been discussions with Ryan, so they're not going to be getting a letter just out of the blue. So continuing those conversations, but just wanted to kind of give you an update on that. And then water booster pumps. Lucas met with Chad last week Friday, but I'll let him go over any detail that you need for that. But I just want to let you know, say that's still kind of progressing as well. So any questions?
Hearing that, thank you, Steve. Anthony.
Right, well, let's see, the West Marion Street Bridge project met with city staff last week, just kind of went over some general details as far as, impacts to the recreation area, the paddling routes. So just kind of working through those details, and that kind of builds the case towards, the concept statement and working through the plans on that. Let's see, Highway 13 Hunting Creek traffic impact study. Just a reminder, May 21st is the public meeting for that. So we'll have sort of an hour designated for the businesses, and then an hour designated for residential residents. Be 5:30 and 6:30. I think 5:30 6:30.
Yeah.
So then we'll just have kind of an informal discussion. Lots of strip maps and just kind of laid out with what the preferred alternative would be. Explain the details of the traffic study itself and what our findings are. And then for the new project, Highway 13 US 20 traffic impact study, we've initiated that internally now, and I'll be reaching out to staff to schedule a kickoff meeting maybe sometime next week, I'll just kind of see what our schedules are, get rolling on that. Questions?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Jason.
I'll be brief. So the contract on the Grand Avenue Trail. So the contracts have been fully executed with the contractor for that work. We're having some initial discussions about doing pre-con, kind of pre-construction meeting where Ames will come up here for that because that was a TAP project. The initial conversation, if you remember, that one was scheduled for late start date of July 20th. It was right after fair, and it'll be done before school starts. The contractor mentioned to me that there may be an appetite to want to get in and get everything done before fair starts, potentially. I said, well, I guarantee you it would have to be after Memorial Day because of all the school traffic, I think, before the council would even consider it. He hasn't come back to me yet to say if he's going to do that or not, because I know with RAGBRAI, the city of Dubuque has been throwing a ton of bids out there, the contractors to pick some of the streets and do some work on the route for RAGBRAI. So a lot of these contractors are bidding on that work, and so that may have an effect on whether or not you want to come in early or not. And I'll keep Brock and Aaron and everybody, posted on what the conversations are there. But because we are a stop town, I don't know where all those people are going to be. We could be 4 days into construction, trying to do construction, and then we got regular traffic, all this meetup traffic coming out there. So it could turn into a cluster.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on there. And then Perry isn't here this evening, but on a private development, but out at Petlands on Oakview. District has been working on the sanitary sewer out there for the last week and a half. We'll finish that this week, hopefully. We had to wait till some high groundwater out there that we had to get out of there with the 6 inches of rain we had a couple weeks ago, but they're making good progress now. Moving forward there. That's all I have.
Jason.
Right.
Thanks, Jason. Okay. Pat. You have the next?
Like Sam said, met with Lucas on the Bush Brook project. We got a good start on it. Got some tweaks and things that gotta get done. Before we move any further on that. That's good though. Aaron and I have been dealing with T-Mobile. T-Mobile was taking off the US Cellular. Currently we have a lease with US Cellular on our water tower, on the Fox water tower. So now T-Mobile is going to be moving into that lease. So we're going to hammer out some details with them. They'll like this that they asked for 25 years for lease. We're not giving them that. Well, that's not what we're working on proposing. For the 5 years with some increment increases involved in that as well. So we're working on that. Hopefully we have something. Sure, on Monday, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Monday, but I think, having the attorney review the draft and then need to go back with them with some language on what we want for rent and the increases.
So, making good headway though. Truck box should be here in June. We'll be driving around with that smashed up truck for a little bit longer. But it will come power coated from the factory. So that's actually a good thing. So I'm not upset about the water. Then we filed some paperwork with our work comp folks, applying for safety equipment grant. As I said downstairs, we do have a safety committee here. How much you guys know about that, but as I said downstairs, looking at a lot of our equipment needs and things. This go around ended up being a lot of sewer related safety equipment that we're applying for in the grant. So the grant could not exceed $10,000. The amount of equipment that I went after this time actually did exceed that, so it's $10,400.
Yeah.
So, that's what, hopefully we get that because it would be nice to upgrade some of that stuff. That spring craziness and starting port valves. We finished our dead end hydrant flushing last week. Everybody's seen that. Red water. Instead of that. Get bugged a lot by there's a big push enough for water quality.
So photograph here, another media outlets and they both with the Iowa Groundwater Association, so that's where they're coming, trying to get information from further on. So sometimes when you do those things, somebody in the audience will write stuff down and share it with the media, so hopefully that didn't happen. But you guys know it's on everybody's radar. So
Exactly.
here's stuff on the news,
Yeah.
or there's been no official statements made from the city of Manchester regarding maintenance or removal plans or costs involved in any of that. Yeah. Questions?
Ben,
The only thing we got, today, we have our Axon VR trainer showed up today. We set it up. The reason why right now the officers are going to be using it, testing its capabilities. But again, as the council, you guys get more questions about how I spend my money than I do. I would suggest coming in tonight with an officer, have them take you upstairs where we have the room set up for it, run through some scenarios. I ran through about 4 today, and they're actually pretty good. But again, looking at it, I mean, I know I haven't got the numbers yet. I'm sure there's costs with it, but I'd like some insight, not just from the officers, but from everybody to see. So we've got it for 30 days. So we'll try it out and see, but that's really it unless you guys have anything for me.
Thanks, Ben. Jason, do you have anything else?
Not a whole lot. I think we covered all of it, but, we're getting a lot of stuff done already. We got a lot of patches put back in. Guys hit it pretty hard. They're coming into their farming season, so they got the guys from on vacation and stuff doing their thing, but plugging away. Stuff. Between all the other bids and all those things, we've been the airport. Yeah. That's all I got.
Jason?
Yeah.
Do we have an update on the street lights? I got a couple more complaints this last week about the corners.
I just had a guy ask me about the Four Corners again yesterday. He got hung up in 2 rotations, so I'm gonna have to do some digging into it. We went up and cleaned the lens at Acres Street, and that took care of it. So I'm thinking that could potentially be the problem here. So we'll take a look at it though. I'm still working with when they come and do their annual inspection. I want to put the bonnets on them because I do think the timing. I asked the gentleman last night, and it's perfect sundown time. So I think the glare is hitting the camera there, and then in the morning it was like it sun up. So when the sun's coming up, so I'm thinking that's potentially a problem. So I do want to still put the bonnets on all 3 of them. So maybe that'll help us out. But that's hopefully that's the case anyway. Something simple like that. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I know we had talked about the garden that I wanted.
Well,
to
yeah,
do.
that was the jump. Yeah.
Right. So I can't physically go load a truck full of compost, so I didn't know if like there was some, I mean, you had mentioned like working together on a different plot.
Well, I said that's something we can talk about that with, let's see something about that. So, yeah, but, we would discuss that here. If
Okay.
you want to call into this, leave your number here with me or at the.
Or Jason.
Or
maybe.
Jason, and then we'll contact you, okay?
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
all right. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. And she was the one who
Yeah.
had told about bringing the extra.
Yeah, I talked to her last week.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. I didn't want to have you have to stand there.
See the garden go somewhere.
Right, right. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay. Randy,
I don't have a whole lot. We got gear coming finally. We're buying 8 sets of gear, and they're actually being made in Spencer. Well, that's kind of cool. We might buy a 9th set, but it'll be a little bit different. Not sure about that yet. Probably will, because Melissa doesn't have gear right now.
It'll be rescue, medical, and that'll actually be wildland fire. She wants nothing to do with fire end of it, but it will also be wildland fire rated too. So if it works for her, maybe we'll think about when we start replacing some more wildland gear. Maybe we'll think about, replacing some of the guys gear. It's a little more expensive, but it's triple purpose instead of just
Right.
I do have some good news. It's not going to cost the city anything. Is that 3 years ago we bought new helmets, and when they showed up, they just never fit quite right. And so we finally were able to get the sales rep, and we've kind of talked about this where we sent the 3 helmets over to New Zealand. Well, I got to talk to the sales rep from Denver the other day, and he's like, "We're just going to give you brand new helmets."
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
All cool.
All brand
Nice.
with the newest version of that helmet, which is a far superior version.
Wonderful.
It saves us a lot of money.
Yeah, that they were probably $400
Oh, wonderful.
with this new version. So,
Awesome. Congratulations.
yeah.
Excellent job,
So, it was a long process of working with this vendor and that vendor, and we finally were able just to, by dumb luck, we're able to get the right people.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not to be in a bad mood yet. So, really,
Thumbs up to that company.
they'll know what I mean. So, other than that, I got nothing.
Okay, thanks, Randy. We saved best for last, Mr. Hines.
We got, 6 houses going to town now. One in Tanglewood, one in Brooklyn subdivision. We, Farmer Savings Bank is finishing the trim on the inside of the bank, and they're pouring their parking lot and sidewalks will be up and down. It's all good. Guidance got their footings and technical. Oh, yeah. Pretty contacted me and wants to just swing by the house and take a peek. But actually, you know, catch with you real quick or, yeah. So, there's a lot of stuff around it. 30 critters around it. So. Okay.
Thanks, Tim. All right. What, Aaron, you go first or Brock?
I won't. I don't have a whole lot to add. I've only been here one day, I guess, so there's not a whole lot to pile on. But yeah, we met with this morning with Public Works guys and Sam, and kind of started to hash out the phasing of that project a little bit. I think that'll be good to have that meeting coming up, and yeah, it'll be a good first day.
Great. Aaron.
Nice to have a city manager on board. Yeah, felt some of the pressure lift today. I don't have anything else at this point.
It brought my attention that there are, I don't know how to say it. People are talking about Denton Park being sold to the hospital, and I have no knowledge of any of that, so I just kind of wanted to bring it up for discussion.
That's not true.
Just to kind of put that to bed. So
Yeah.
Denton Park is not for sale to the hospital at all.
No, and I did confirm that with Doug Foley. There have been no discussions. Doug is the Parks and Rec director, just for the recording, and there have been no discussions about that being sold.
Yeah, they're just, people in town that have positions that are saying that there is not city employees, non-city employees are making the comments, so just something that I wanted to bring to light. That's it. Oh, Actually, sorry. The golf cart, petition that's getting passed around. I talked to a couple of guys at work and I think we're pretty soon gonna bring it. So rather than just dragging this out all summer.
Yep.
So here, maybe
Talk-
next committee of the whole.
Yeah,
meeting or
next
something
committee of
like
the whole, maybe have it for that, and then we can start to discuss
So
it. with them.
somebody out of Henderson's was starting.
There's a guy out of Henderson's that actually created the petition, but he's not the guy that's going to run around and pass it around. If that makes sense. So it's been dropped at a golf course or something, I guess. I'm not 100% sure and whatnot. So soon we'll retrieve it and get it brought for the county.
Okay, thank you. Bill?
Nothing. Welcome, Rocks. I just hope you had a hard day.
We kept him here till 7:40.
Yeah.
Good 12-hour day to start it, man. Good way to break it. Yeah, yeah, just 12. Yeah. Should have showed up a little early this morning.
Welcome aboard.
You know, thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Right, right, so it's 7:10. Let's see, QC Diane, second rating, we're adjourned. And we are adjourned.